The midnight sky cracked open with fire as Noreen's escape pod tore through Earth's atmosphere. Her violet hands trembled on the controls, her silver-flecked eyes wide with fear as trees rushed up to meet her. The impact sent her body slamming against restraints, darkness claiming her consciousness as the ship's emergency systems engaged camouflage protocols. Jackson Reed woke to his dogs barking wildly at the edge of his property. Throwing on boots and grabbing his rifle, he followed their excited path through pine-scented darkness. 20 years of military service had trained him to recognize the unexpected, but nothing prepared him for the scorched earth trail leading to a shimmer in the air that didn't belong among his trees. "What the hell?" he whispered, reaching out to touch the distortion. His fingers met warm metal where empty space should be. The camouflage flickered, revealing sleek blue-black metal. Unlike anything manufactured on Earth, Jackson circled cautiously until finding what appeared to be a hatch. Years of conflict had taught him caution, but compassion drove him to press the illuminated panel beside it. Inside, he found her. Humanoid but unmistakably alien skin, the color of twilight dusk with iridescent markings trailing her arms. Hair like spun silver floating around her unconscious form. Blood the color of crushed blueberries seeped from a gash across her forehead. "Ma'am, can you hear me?" Jackson's medic training took over as he checked her vital signs. Finding a pulse that beat in an odd triple rhythm against his fingers, her eyes fluttered open, revealing irises that shifted color like aurora borealis. Terror filled them as she saw him, and she spoke in a language that sounded like wind chimes and rushing water.
"Oh."
"Easy now," Jackson soothed, raising empty palms. "I'm not going to hurt you." Understanding crossed her features. A small device at her throat glowed as she touched it. Translator. Activating, she managed in halting English. "Please. No authorities." "You're hurt," Jackson said. "Need medical attention." She shook her head weakly. "Cannot risk ... discovery. My people. Hunted now." Jackson made a quick decision. "My place is just beyond those trees. Nobody comes out here. I was a combat medic. I can help." Fear and hope poured in her expression. "Why would you assist me?" "Because you need it," he answered simply. "And I've seen enough war to know a refugee when I meet one." "Neron," she whispered, touching her chest. "I am called Neron." "Jackson Reed," he replied, carefully helping her from the damaged craft. "Welcome to Earth. Not exactly our best first impression." Her legs buckled, and he caught her against him, noting how light she felt in Earth's gravity. The warmth of her alien body against his sparked something he hadn't felt in years, a protectiveness, a purpose. "I will repay this kindness," she promised as he carried her toward his isolated cabin. "Let's just focus on getting you well," Jackson replied. Unaware that this midnight encounter would change everything he thought he knew about the universe and his own lonely heart. Healing wound sunlight streamed through cabin windows as Neyrun examined her surroundings. 3 Earth days had passed since her crash, each spent recovering under Jackson's careful attention. She touched the bandage on her forehead, marveling at the primitive but effective medicine he'd applied. "The swelling's gone down," Jackson observed, entering with a tray of food. "How are you feeling?" "Better." Her translator had improved, adapting to his speech patterns. "Your kindness is ... unexpected."
"Jackson."
Shrugged, setting the tray beside her. "Try the eggs. Protein should help." Neron sampled the yellow food curiously. "On Khalasar, we cultivate nutrient crystals. These taste more alive." "That's one way of putting it," he chuckled, the sound warming something inside her as days passed. Neron shared stories of her homeworld, the crystal forests, the twin moons, the war that had consumed it all. "My husband commanded our defense fleet," she explained one evening as they sat beside Jackson's fireplace. "When the Vorex attacked, he sent me away in the last escape pod. I watched our city burn from orbit." Jackson's weathered face softened. "I'm sorry." "Your eyes understand loss," she observed, her gaze studying him. He stared into flames. "Afghanistan. Iraq. 20 years watching good people die. His fingers unconsciously traced the scar running from his collarbone to shoulder. Last tour, our convoy hit an IED. I was the only survivor. Neuron reached across the space between them, her violet fingers hovering above his scar. May I? He nodded, tense but curious. Her touch was gentle, fingers radiating subtle warmth as they traced his damaged skin. On my world, we believe scars hold memories. They speak of survival. What do mine say? He asked, voice rough with emotion. That you have carried others until you could carry no more? Her eyes met his. That you are still carrying them. Jackson looked away, uncomfortable with her insight. Your ship, can it be repaired? Neuron withdrew her hand. Some systems are repairable. Others require materials your planet cannot provide. So you're stuck here? Perhaps not forever, but for now, she hesitated. Does that concern you? Jackson considered this. Honestly, I've been alone out here for 3 years. It's nice having someone to talk to even if they're from another solar system. That night, watching Jackson sleep in the chair he'd insisted on taking while giving her his bed, Neuron studied this human who'd shown her more compassion than her own people's allies had during the war. His face, relaxed in sleep, looked younger and burdened by the weight she recognized in his waking eyes. For the first time since escaping Calazar, Naren felt something beyond grief. A connection, fragile as morning frost but just as beautiful, forming between two wounded souls from different worlds. Government vehicles, Jackson announced, lowering his binoculars. 3 miles down the road, asking questions at the Henderson's place. Neuron froze, her hands stilling on the spacecraft component she'd been repairing on Jackson's porch. They're searching for me. Looks that way. We need to move your ship deeper into the woods. Under cover of darkness, they worked together. Jackson's tractor carefully towing the cloaked vessel to an abandoned mine shaft on his property's far edge. Sweating and tired, they sat on a fallen log afterward, looking up at stars. That one, Neuron pointed. 3rd star in that cluster. That's my son. Jackson squinted upward. Hard to believe you came all that way. Not by choice, she reminded him softly. Their shoulders touched as they sat side by side, neither moving away from the contact. After weeks in each other's company, the initial strangeness had faded, placed by something neither acknowledged aloud. I've been thinking, Jackson said. If they find you, ... They will dissect me, she finished matter-of-factly. Study my biology, my technology. I've accessed your internet. I understand how humans treat the unknown. Jackson frowned. Not all of us, no. Her luminescent eyes found his. Not you. Impulsively, he reached for her hand. Her fingers interlaced with his, different yet fitting perfectly. We'll figure something out. That night brought the first rainfall since Narine's arrival. They watched from the porch as water poured from the sky, a rarity on her desert homeworld. Unable to resist, she stepped from beneath the overhang, face tilted upward in wonder as droplets spilled across her violet skin. Cold. She laughed, the sound like music. Jackson watched, transfixed by her joy. When she extended her hand toward him, he joined her without hesitation. Rain soaking them both as she guided his hands to her waist, showing him the formal rain dance of her people. We consider rain sacred, she explained. Their bodies moving together in the downpour. Life-giving? Rare. Like finding you, he murmured, scarcely realizing he'd spoken aloud until her movement stilled. Their eyes locked, rain streaming down their faces. Jackson's heart hammered against his ribs as Narine's hand rose to touch his cheek. Her skin glowed faintly in the darkness, an ethereal light that seemed to pulse with her quickening heartbeats. Is this madness? She whispered, her face tilted toward his. Probably, he admitted, his hand covering hers, when their lips met. The rain seemed to pause around them, suspended in a moment outside time. Her kiss tasted of stardust and longing, two lonely souls finding unexpected harbor in each other's arms. The distant sound of vehicles broke them apart. Headlights swept the main road, still miles away but approaching. They're coming, Jackson said, tension returning to his shoulders. Noreen's eyes hardened with resolve. Then we must be ready. Pursuit through Shadow Dawn broke to the sound of helicopter rotors. Jackson peered through curtains, counting 3 black SUVs approaching his driveway. "They're here," he warned. Grabbing the emergency bag he'd prepared, Noreen slipped the ship's navigation cord, the one irreplaceable component, into her pocket. The back exit? Underground. Route cellar to the tunnel system. Old Prohibition route. He lifted the kitchen rug, revealing a trapdoor. Ladies first. They descended into darkness as pounding began at the front door. The tunnel stretched beneath Jackson's property, emerging nearly a mile away in dense woods. Above, they heard boots on floorboards, voices shouting orders. "Mr. Reed is harboring a non-terrestrial entity," a authoritative voice announced through megaphone. "This is a matter of national security." Breathing heavily, they emerged from the tunnel exit, concealed within a hollow oak. "My truck's hidden at the old Williams place," Jackson whispered, orienting himself. 2 miles east. Hand in hand, they raced through morning mist, Noreen's natural agility compensating for her unfamiliarity with Earth's terrain. They reached the abandoned farmhouse where Jackson kept his backup vehicle. Climbing inside the weathered pickup just as distant shouts indicated their absence had been discovered. "Where can we go?" Noreen asked, clinging to the dashboard as Jackson navigated overgrown back roads. "I have a friend, former unit medic. Runs a reservation clinic in Oklahoma. If anyone will help, it's Tomas." They drove through the day, stopping only when necessary, always watching for pursuit. As night fell, they pulled onto a remote fire road, deciding to rest until morning in the truck cab. Huddled beneath blankets against the autumn chill, Noreen curled against Jackson's chest. "I've brought chaos to your life," she murmured. "I'm sorry." His arms tightened around her. "My life was too quiet anyway." Her laugh was soft, sad. "Is that why you live so far from others?" "The quiet. After the war, crowds made me jumpy. Loud noises. Too many people asking questions I couldn't answer." His fingers traced patterns along her arm. "Easier to be alone. And now." Jackson tilted her face up to his. "Now, I'm not alone anymore." Their kiss deepened. Need and desire replacing fear as hands explored unfamiliar, yet somehow perfect contours. Her skin glowed brighter with each touch, illuminating the truck's interior with soft blue light. When they finally came together, stars exploding behind closed eyelids. It was like worlds colliding, 2 different beings finding impossible harmony. After breathing together in the darkness, Jackson realized the enormity of what had happened, not just physically, but within his heart. This woman from the stars had awakened something he thought dead after years of war and solitude. "No matter what happens," he whispered against her hair, "I'll keep you safe." Noreen's fingers traced the outline of his face, as if memorizing it. "My people have a saying. Souls find each other across oceans of stars. I never understood until now." Dawn's first light found them driving again, heading west toward uncertain safety. 2 fugitives bound by something stronger than Phyra, love that defied the very stars themselves. Tomas's reservation clinic provided temporary sanctuary. The former combat medic asked no questions when Jackson arrived with Neon, needing only one look at his friend's protective stance to understand the situation's gravity. Government's been broadcasting alerts about a crashed satellite. Tomas informed them over coffee, offering rewards for information. "They're searching westward. You bought some time heading east." 3 weeks passed in hiding. Noreen worked nights, repairing her ship's components with materials Tomas discreetly provided. Jackson stood guard, watching horizons for approaching danger. Between these moments, their connection deepened, each discovering in the other something worth fighting for. On the 23rd night, Noreen's communicator activated unexpectedly a signal from distant space. "A rescue vessel," she whispered, translating the message. "My people received my beacon. They're coming." Jackson's expression remained carefully neutral. "That's good news." She searched his face. "Is it?" They stood beneath vast Oklahoma skies, the unspoken question hanging between them like the distant stars themselves. Your world is up there, Jackson said finally. Your people need you, and what of what I need? Neron challenged, stepping closer. Jackson's hands found hers. I can't ask you to stay. Earth isn't safe for you, not yet. Those agents won't stop searching. My ship is nearly repaired, she countered. With the rescue vessel's help, I could return to orbit. Wait there? For what? For change? For acceptance? Her fingers tightened around his. For you to join me, perhaps. The idea hung between them, Jackson leaving Earth behind, venturing into stars he'd only ever observed from afar. Just a rancher, he said softly. An ex-soldier. You're the man who saw beyond my differences, Neron replied. Who showed me kindness when I had known only war. Who taught me that loss isn't the end of all things. She placed his hand over her heart. Who gave me reason to live again. The night before the rescue ship's arrival, they stood beside her repaired vessel, decisions weighing heavily upon them. Come with me, Neron whispered. See the crystal forests I told you about? The twin moons rising over silver oceans? Jackson looked back toward the distant lights of human civilization. And if Earth ever becomes ready, if someday your people could walk openly among mine, then we return together, she promised. Ambassadors of what's possible when different worlds find common ground. As dawn broke, they made final preparations. Tomas arrived with supplies and a bittersweet smile. Never thought I'd be helping Jackson Reed leave Earth for a woman, he chuckled. But then, she's not just any woman. Jackson embraced his friend. If anyone asks, you went fishing in Canada, Tomas finished. Got tired of people. Might be gone a while. When the rescue ship's lights appeared as false dawn on the horizon, Jackson took one last look at the only world he'd known. Then, turning to Neron, he took her hand and stepped into the ship that would carry them beyond Earth's boundaries. Are you certain? She asked as the hatch sealed behind them. Jackson pulled her close, no longer seeing an alien but simply the woman he loved. Home isn't a place, he told her, echoing words she'd once shared from her world. It's where two souls recognize each other across oceans of stars. As Earth fell away beneath them, two broken hearts from different worlds began healing together among the endless possibilities of the universe.